Eric Wowoh arrived in Lafayette, Louisiana in 2006 through a refugee resettlement program administered by the U.S. government and the Catholic Diocese of Lafayette, Louisiana. A refugee from the Civil War in Liberia who, after being beaten, tortured, and left to die, escaped to exile by the grace of God and spent 14 years living in over a dozen refugee camps in West Africa. Here he became a Christian in one of these refugee camps in Guinea Republic. He was given a computer set in the refugee camp in Nigeria and was taught by another refugee, and then he began to teach others in the camp. After coming to America, Eric asked for help and support from the residents of his new home in Lafayette, Louisiana, and other Americans around the country to bring hope and opportunity to an impoverished people in Liberia. Where he came from and what he has done is absolutely mind-boggling. In the 9 years since coming to the United States, Eric and Change Agent Network has built 14 schools in Liberia and started construction on the Can University. Several times a year, Eric ships old computer parts, copiers, desks, and other goods that America regards as nothing but trash to Liberia. Eric says yesterday's trash is tomorrow's treasure for us. Eric said, "All I want from the American people is the baseline of education, food, water, and other human needs for the impoverished children of Liberia. I'm not asking for the American dream." Our mission is to partner with impoverished African communities to fight poverty through education. Our vision, an African continent free of physical and mental poverty as well as intellectual slavery. As the deadly Ebola virus killed thousands in Liberia and West Africa, Change Agent Network switched gears and sent medical supplies, food, and other goods to Liberia. The humanitarian efforts of Eric and Change Agent Network caught the attention of Liberian Ambassador to the U.S., Jeremiah Sulunteh. The ambassador visited Lafayette and the Change Agent Network Banquet to express his country's appreciation to Lafayette and Can for their humanitarian efforts in Liberia.
You know, I've had the privilege to get to know about this organization, Eric, I guess 3 months ago maybe, at the most. And it's been pretty impressive and pretty humbling. And the thing that goes through my mind over and over again is, how can I complain about little inconveniences in my life when I see what he has gone through and still has so much hope, so much optimism, and so much giving? You agree? So we're going to go through a little exercise here. I thought maybe you could repeat after me. I will never complain again about little minor inconveniences in my life. Yup, agree? Agree? That was easy. I will never complain about traffic in Lafayette again. Agree? I won't even go for the next one because it was about me, but I won't even try. One of the things that have become very apparent and was mentioned up here tonight was the obvious love that Eric has for his country and his people. I had several people in my office today, and I saw a lot of people who had a lot of love for their people and for their country. Another person who I would like to bring up here tonight that very obviously has an awful lot of love for his people, for his country, a lot of dedication to his people and his country, is the ambassador of Liberia. I would like to ask him to come on up. He got a little taste of you in Washington, D.C. at the Mardi Gras recently, and he still came to Lafayette. But I've gotten to know him. He was in my office again today. We had dinner last night, lunch today, with he and his wife and my wife. And really have hit it off well, I think. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being here. I know Eric and the Change Agent Network appreciate you being here. That love that you have for your country and for your people is obviously shared here tonight with you. There's a lot of love in this room for you and everything that you and Eric and all of you do. So thank you for that. But it becomes official that that love is what it is when I now make you an honorary citizen of Lafayette. So you now have a home away from home. You know, I would normally tell you that this gives you the ability to vote for me, and I would normally tell you, since we're in South Louisiana, I've already done it twice. But I am term limited, so you don't have to vote for me now. So it's you get to have your own free choice. But let's welcome Ambassador Jeremiah Sulunteh to Lafayette as an honorary citizen. Eric.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. Good evening. I wonder what else do I have to say? Having seen the work of your hands in Liberia, that's shown in the video that you just saw. By listening to the story of Eric Wowoh, what else should I say? But I have come to join Eric in the Change Agent Network to express our immense gratitude to you all in this hall and those you represent for the support. To people that you would never see, to people that some of you only imagine. Thank you. The Honorable Joey Durel, the city government, parish president, and council members, Mr. Eric Wowoh and the Change Agent Network family, distinguished personalities, invited guests, friends of Liberia, sponsors, my brothers and sisters. Permit me at the outset to bring you sincere greetings on behalf of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the President of Liberia, the government and the people of Liberia, and the children of Liberia. Thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Durel and members of the City Council for the warm hospitality accorded us since our arrival in your city since yesterday. My wife, Kevin, and I are very grateful to our host, Mr. and Mrs. Mark Thomas, for their generosity. I have only been here about 24 hours, and I feel that I have been knowing the Thomas family for a year now. Thank you, Matty. Thank you, Eric Wowoh and the Change Agent Network for the kind invitation to join you in appreciating the community of Acadiana, Louisiana for the support the Change Agent Network continues to receive for the work you do in Africa. Born unto farmers, similar to Eric Wowoh. I don't have a birth certificate, don't ask me why. I was born in a village before the first hospital in my village community was ever built. Meaning I was born to a traditional midwife. So I don't have a birth certificate. I could not start kindergarten until I reached the age of 10. Some of you got your grandkids. At 10 years old, you know what class they are in. But I started school at the age of 10 simply because my village community did not have schools in close proximity for a 5-year-old to walk. So I had to grow up to be 10 to walk the 3.5 miles in the thick forest to go to the only school available. So I started school at the age of 10. Do I want the rest of the Liberian kids to grow to 10 before they start kindergarten? I said no. Do they have to be like Jeremiah? I said no. So I went to school. When I was in grade 9, I had to work on a sugarcane farm to be able to pay my monthly rental of $1.50. Because I could not afford $1.50 for my room rental payment per month, I had to work every Saturday on a sugarcane farm in lieu of my rent. Do I want other kids to be like that? I say no. And that is why when I served as minister in this government, I went around raising funds, and I built the first school in my village community that caters to 174 students today. I felt that there was a need to leave a footprint for the other kids to follow. That is exactly why I traveled to Sweden to collaborate with the Swedes to build a community college, so that some of the ex-combatants who could not afford to go to the university would go to the community college to get a skill, to change their life, to change their community. You could say, why is he boring us with all of these problems? I have a granddaughter in Canada, 7 years old, in grade 4. She said, Grandpa, I'm going to go to grade 5 when I'm 8. I said, but do you know I didn't start school until I was 10? You may have a lot of opportunity here in the United States. And again, we can't compare Liberia and the United States. You can't compare oranges and apples. But some of the opportunity that you have, your kids have, your grandchildren have, you may not know what it means. You may not know what it means for children who are in school to only wait for the daylight to do their home assignment because they don't have electricity. You may not know what it means for the 12-year-old or 14-year-old coming from school. They had no idea whether there will be meal at home. So what you're doing here, some of you will say, well, you know, I love doing it. This is something, I went to Liberia and I saw the situation. I just love doing it. Do you really know? Do you really understand the magnitude of what you are doing? You're changing lives. You're touching communities.
Get involved today with Eric Wowoh and this amazing organization to change the world at www.caninternational.org. That's www.canintl.org.